Shalom lekulam, bruchim habaim lebeit midrash Malka. Shalom everyone, and welcome back to Beit Midrash Malka, or the Queen's Study Hall. I'm Malka, and this is part 2 of our Fundamentals of Hebrew Language video series. I will always do a short recap in the beginning of each video, however I do recommend that you watch them in order. I think it makes more sense that way. Then again, y'all are adults, make your own choices, but if you get all verstunkene, you know who to blame. Anyway, so, Hebrew words generally have 3 roots of the shoresh, three letters in the shoresh, or the root. Sometimes they have 2, sometimes they have 4, generally 3. 2 and 4, very rare. There are also 5 letters in the Hebrew alphabet that take on a different form when they appear at the end of the word. Those 5 letters are kaf, kaf, pei, nun, tzadi, and mem. I still want like Rechov Sum Sum and Sesame Street sound effects, like kids in the background or something. I don't know. Maybe when I have a bigger budget. I forgot to mention in my first video, kind of embarrassingly, that there's also another super important detail that you need to know if you are a newcomer to Hebrew and have never studied anything before about it. Hebrew is read from this is your right to left. Not like English, which is read left to right. So, sorry about that. Now that we've cleared all that up, we can get to our topic of this video, which is we're going to be talking about 2 very special and unfortunately often misunderstood letters, which are Aleph and Ayin. Continuing on the theme of Hebrew as totally diverse from English, nothing in common, Hebrew is it's a language of consonants. We know this because Hebrew is, when it's written, you have the letters like this, going right to left, of course, and the vowels appear underneath. Sometimes they appear to the side, but, generally they're underneath. So when you're looking at a Hebrew word, the first thing that you deal with are the consonants. The vowels are somewhat secondary. That's not to say that they're any less important. They're very important. But that's not how Hebrew is set up, which gives you sort of an insight into the language itself, which of course gives you an insight into the culture. Language and culture are linked, as you may know. For those of you who are familiar with the Torah scroll, who have seen it, you'll remember that when you look inside, it's only consonants. No letters, no vowels. No vowels, no trope markings, no nothing. We could also do a session on that, which might be interesting. So, we'll also be doing a video on Hebrew vowels. That's coming soon. More fun, so stay tuned. So, our friends Aleph and Ayin. A lot of people erroneously equate Aleph with the letter A. This is probably because Aleph and A are both the first letters in the Hebrew and English alphabet, respectively, but that's a bad association. Why? Because Aleph is silent, and again, it's a consonant, whereas A in English is obviously a vowel. The same goes for Ayin. Ayin is silent. It is a consonant. And I always used to tell my students that Aleph and Ayin are so shy and they have so much social anxiety that when they show up to the party, they won't say anything or interact with you unless they have their friend Vav with them. Again, Vav is a special letter, which we will talk more about in our segment on vowels in Hebrew. So how can Aleph and Ayin be consonants and also silent. I know for those of you who are native English speakers, the concept of silent consonants is not necessarily foreign, but let's just talk about this for a second. For many thousands of years, Hebrew was not actually a spoken language in a huge sector of the Jewish world, namely the Ashkenazi world. It was only used when we were reading or learning Torah, or when we were praying. Those are really the only times it was used. So, initially, at least according to what I've read, Aleph and Ayin started out as consonants in biblical times that were vocalized, but over time that practice faded. And if you go to Israel today, you'll notice that most Israelis don't vocalize them when they speak. However, if you've ever heard a Yemenite Jew or any Jew from an Arabic-speaking country, you'll notice that they sound a little bit different when they speak, and that's because they do actually vocalize the consonants of Aleph and Ayin. It's similar to sounds that they have in Arabic. It's that sort of like, oh, back in the throat, which I cannot do. I hope to learn. But anyway, let you know if I do. So yeah, Aleph and Ayin, nothing to do with the sound ah. They are not vowels, they are consonants. That about sums it up for today. If you like what you've seen here, if you find it useful, like, subscribe, share, tell your friends, tell your cousins, tell your parents, your grandparents, your in-laws, or maybe not, because then you'd actually have to speak to them. Anyway, yeah, and feel free to leave a comment. And my email should be down below in the description, and I look forward to being in connection with you. תודה רבה, להתראות.